The Reserve Bank Governor, it is good to see you, sir. The message is one of growth out of India, but at the same time, you are not immune to the spillover effects of both the slowdown in the West or the other countries and higher inflation and higher interest rates.
You see, on growth, let me say that the year which we just concluded on 31st of March, that is the financial year 22-23, India is expected to have recorded a GDP growth of 7%. And for the current financial year, from April to March next year, we expect growth to be 6.5%, which is above what the IMF has projected. That's because the aggregate demand conditions remain good, investment conditions remain good. Coming to spillovers.
Yes.
Now, coming to spillovers, if you are referring to the slowdown of the growth elsewhere, 2 points I would like to mention. First, that the domestic economic activity, the domestic consumption demand, both rural demand as well as urban demand, they continue to be strong. Domestic investment activity, public investment is doing well. Private investment in critical sectors are also picking up. And one more point with regard to the banking sector crisis, which has developed elsewhere in Europe and in the United States, our banking system remains well insulated. In terms of all parameters, our banking sector is resilient and stable and healthy.
Right, so now we look at, for example, the energy requirements of India and the purchase of Russian oil, for example, which at lower prices is a benefit to your economy, but creates difficult problems as well.
Yeah, in the sense we have a huge energy requirement. You know, India, despite growing very fast, we have still a lot of population at the, what we call living below the poverty line. And naturally, India cannot pay very high prices for energy. So India has been, without violating the sanctions, India has been importing, oil from wherever it is available. And in any case, it's not the government which imports. Right. There are companies which import. They are doing refining and they are selling it all over the world.
Does India currently find itself in a tricky position between the US and with China? The worsening relationship between those two giants creates opportunities, certainly, for India, but do you have to make a choice?
No, I think that is an issue on which, as a central bank governor, it's not for me to really comment.
No.
It's for the government, for the minister or somebody from the
right.
government to comment. As central bank governor, it's not my, it's not right. my domain.
All right, so firmly your domain is inflation and the fight against inflation.
That's right.
At what point do central bank governors say enough's enough? If your target's 2%, you stop at 2.3. If you've got a range of 2 to 4, you say 5%, we've done enough, that'll be fine. The pivot question is what you're all talking about or concerned about.
You see, during the COVID times, our inflation target is 4% and we have a tolerance band of 2% on either side. That is 2 to 6% is what is tolerable. During the COVID times, because we had to provide support to the economy, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank decided to tolerate a slightly higher inflation. But then a time came when it exceeded 6%, which is the upper
That's the problem.
tolerance.
See, that's what happens when you when you increase the range. So are you going to tolerate again?
No. I'm coming to the point. So the moment it exceeded that, and by that time the COVID time was behind us, we acted in time, and in about 6 successive meetings, we have increased our policy rate by about 250 basis points. And now the inflation is the latest print, it has come below 6%. And in the last meeting, that is last week, we had the latest Monetary Policy Committee meeting. There the Monetary Policy Committee decided that we have already done 250 basis point rate increase over the last 1 year. Let us assess its impact. And in the last meeting, the Monetary Policy Committee decided to take a pause, but not a pivot. We have taken a pause to assess the full play out of the impact of all the action that we have taken, and then decide, depending on the incoming data and depending on the outlook, we will take a call in the next monetary policy meeting about the future action.
But not pivoting.
That's right.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Very grateful. Have a good meeting.